30 Simple Strategies to Stop Procrastinating. What you'll learn. How to identify the reasons you are procrastinating. How to determine if you are a procrastinator. How to apply simple solutions to avoid postponing tasks and projects. How to do one thing at a time. How to change your language and thoughts and thus remove your bad habits. With minimum effort, you will learn 30 strategies that will help you stop postponing tasks and change your bad habits of procrastination. Hello and welcome to this video on how to stop procrastinating. We all procrastinate in one way or another, so it is not something unusual. How much and for how long we procrastinate makes the difference between people and the results they can achieve. Procrastination can be a set of bad habits repeated daily, or it can become an attitude. Regardless, the good news is that bad habits can be unlearned and changed. And the solutions are simple and straightforward. It requires some consistent work and dedication. For this, I gathered a set of 30 challenges that you can do over a period of 30 days or less, provided you want to do one a day. All you have to do is go through the entire video and do the indicated exercises. So without any more procrastination, let us start these 30 days of challenges. Challenge number 1. Do something daily. If you do nothing, at the end of a determined period, it adds nothing. For example, if you do nothing for 1 year, at the end of that year, you will have nothing. Instead, if you do just a little and you do it daily, then that will add up to turn into a lot. Look at the examples below, for a better understanding. If you want to learn a foreign language and for 1 year, you do nothing, at the end of that year, you will be exactly where you started. And that is, not knowing that language. Instead, if you learn a new word every day, at the end of 1 year, you will know 365 new words. If you learn 2 words per day, you will know 730 words and so on. If you read 10 pages daily from a book, which will probably take you 10 to 15 minutes, at the end of 1 year, you will have read 3,650 pages, which is around 25 average books. Average in size, because they can be life-changing in message and meaning, if you choose them wisely. If you watch daily, for 10 minutes, 2 TED Talks, at the end of 1 year, you will have seen over 700 short presentations, with over 700 ideas that are worth sharing. And that will mean a lot of interesting and intriguing ideas. And the last example, look at the math in this exercise. Of course, it implies that you do the math in power and not by multiplying. Still, for the sake of the example, the difference is huge. 1 powered by 365 equals 1. 1,01 powered by 365 equals 37,78343433. The conclusion from each of the examples above is simple and the same. Do something daily and in time you will see the results. Do nothing daily, and the result will be the same as ever, nothing. Challenge number 2. Start now. Newton's first law of movement says that an object that does not move will remain that way until someone or something will give it an impulse. Being part of this universe, we act exactly the same. If we stand still, we will remain that way until someone, ourselves or others, or something, external event, will trigger us to start. In that moment, we become a moving object, which means the chances of doing something, or going somewhere, have increased dramatically. The lesson to learn from this idea is to start moving and start working on what we have to do. And then physics will help us achieve the rest. Of course, not just physics, but also motivation, determination, rewards, and other external and internal factors. Challenge number 3. 5 minutes in the trenches. Because we dread long and difficult tasks, the solution is to work bit by bit, minute by minute. In this case, 5 minutes. If you plan to work for the next couple of hours or days, weeks, months or years, you will most certainly fail at starting anything, because it sounds too long and difficult. Instead, if you only plan to work for 5 minutes, that is doable. And you will have no excuse that you do not have enough time, energy or resources. Simply set a timer for 5 minutes and work until the 5 minutes pass. If you still want to work after those 5 minutes, you can do that. In the beginning though, I recommend that you work only in those increments of 5 minutes. After a while, You can change that amount of 5 minutes to 6 or 7, or 10, depending on your motivation, resources, and time. Being able to survive those 5 minutes in the trenches will teach your mind that nothing is impossible if you plan it and start it, that big plans need small steps, and that the most important part is to begin something and then stick to it. Challenge number 4. 1 brick at a time. Whenever you have to do something big, it is best to do it bit by bit, brick by brick. Exactly like building a house, you do not do it all at once, you start with 1 brick and then another and so on until it is finished. So if you have a big project to do, the easiest way is to divide it into smaller bricks or parts. Let us imagine you are preparing for an important language exam. The task can be daunting if seen as a whole and accessible when seen as smaller pieces. Your goal can sound like this: in the next 12 months, I want to learn to speak English at a conversational level, well enough to be able to talk about general things and find a job in my field, which is car sales. I will invest daily 1 hour of work to achieve my goal. The bricks in this goal will be: find 1 spare hour daily from 9 to 10 p.m. The solution for this is to replace poorly spent time with good invested time. In my case, I will change the bad habit of wasting time on social media, which I am currently doing daily, from 9 to 10 p.m., and wisely invest that time into learning English. Find the motivation to learn daily instead of doing something else. Because I am determined to move to the USA, I will dedicate my energy to learning English. It is a priority to me, so I will make sure I stay focused. In the first month, I will learn, daily, 3 new words. Then, I will add 1 more word each month. So, in the second month I will learn 4 words daily. In the third month, I will learn 5 words daily, and so on. This task will take 10 minutes daily from my 60 minutes time allocated for this goal. In the remaining time, I will also listen to English pronunciation from various sources, for 20 minutes daily. In the remaining 30 minutes, I will also learn some grammar rules and use a dedicated app, to check my pronunciation skills. At the end of every 2 weeks, I will check my progress. This way, any task or goal will become more realistic and easier to follow. So go ahead and set your own goals and divide them into smaller bricks. Challenge number 5. Change your language. It is important to realize that, when you procrastinate, you use a specific language. Identifying that language can help you change it and then procrastinate less. Let us have a look at some of the things that you say to yourself when you procrastinate. I do not have enough time today, so I might as well begin this task tomorrow. Although this could sometimes be true, the fact that you do not have enough time to start and finish a certain task or project, it is best to simply avoid this kind of talk and change it into one that is more beneficial for you and helps you get started. So try this approach instead. I will never have enough time for everything that I want to do, so I might as well start working on this project right away. I work better under stress and on tight deadlines, so I think I should wait until the last moment. It is true that there are people who work well under tight deadlines. However, this is not the way to act in the long run, because you are stressing your body and mind more than it should be. If there are times when you have to work on a deadline, do it and finish what you have to do. But if you can control that and finish your work on time, then do that and do not wait for the deadline to knock on your door. Anything else is simply bad time management. So try this approach instead. Even though I work well on tight deadlines, it is advisable to start working in time and go through the main stages of a project ahead of time, whenever possible. This way, I can foresee any problems that might arise and find the best solution. Plus, having enough time means that I can avoid expensive mistakes that usually appear when I rush and also get involved in new projects, when I finish the current one. It is already late and I better get started on this project tomorrow, when I will be fresh and rested. While it is true that everyone works better when rested, it is also true that working too much time and paying too much effort to a project can also be discouraging and can affect you in the long run. So try this approach instead. Although there is not much time left from this day, if I start now, I will get a glimpse of the project ahead and tomorrow I will have less to work. During the night, my mind can arrange the information and help me schedule my work more effectively. Plus, tomorrow, I would have wished that I started this project today. Challenge number 6. Excuses. When you procrastinate, you use excuses. Either you tell them to yourself or others, they are there. So try to identify them and then change them into something more realistic. Look at the examples below and then discover your own excuses. I can do that task tomorrow. This is probably the most common excuse a procrastinator uses. For some tasks, that can be true. Some things can be postponed for tomorrow. And some should. But for you, as a procrastinator, that is not helpful, because it strengthens your already existing bad habits. Instead, use the following reframing and see if you feel better about yourself, and a little less procrastinating. Although I could do that tomorrow, I will begin it today, and this way I will have a small start on this project. I just do not have enough time for this. This is also a well-known excuse for a procrastinator, because it helps lower the feeling of guilt and externalize the responsibility. Instead, try the following reframing: we all have the same amount of time. Therefore, saying that I do not have enough time for something is wrong. If it is something important, then I can make time. I can make a list of not very important things and take time from those things. Then, get started right away and do bits from this project. It is simply too difficult to do it in one piece, so I better postpone it for some time, when I will be ready. Look at the bricks example that I gave you before and use that to understand how you can divide a bigger task or project into smaller, sustainable steps. And try the following reframing: because it is a difficult task, I will divide it into smaller steps and take them one at a time. This way, I can start working on this task today and do it little by little, with less effort and more satisfaction. Once I finish this project, I will start working on this other one. How many times have we not fooled ourselves with this excuse? Once we finish something, we will start taking care of our lives, eat healthy, exercise, and tackle all the projects we proposed for ourselves. And that moment never comes, because there are always more urgent things to do than the ones we postpone. Use the Eisenhower matrix to choose between important and urgent projects and tasks, and then get on with the important ones. For that, try the following reframing: I now know which are the important projects in my life and which are just urgent. Therefore, I will start working on the important ones and dedicate more time and focus. I will also make an order of the urgent projects, to see which to start with. This way, I will find time for the things that really matter and find time for personal and professional projects as well. Challenge number 7. Grandma's rule. This is a rule as old as the ages, used by parents and grandparents alike. Introduced to science in the 1950s by psychologist David Premack, who gave it the name Premack Principle, this states that a preferred activity can become a reward for another activity, which is less preferred. For example, parents use this rule with eating habits. They link the eating of a cake or something sweet, the preferred activity, with eating the vegetables from the plate, the less preferred activity. Or, with adults, you can link a less preferred activity such as learning for an exam with a preferred one, such as watching a short movie. Or, if you like to go out with friends, preferred activity, you can use that as a reward for doing your work on time, less preferred activity. So go ahead and find for yourself such examples of activities that you prefer more and less and see how you can link them together. Just make sure that the preferred activity, the reward, comes after you do the less preferred one. Challenge number 8. Plan your goals. If you want to make sure that you set yourself achievable goals, besides making them smart, you must also do the following. Decide what you want to achieve. Set clear objectives, their importance and order. Write your goal on paper. As the old Latin saying states, verba volant, scriptum in it, which means that words fly and written texts remain. Plus, writing it on paper gives you more clarity and it is easier to follow through. Of course, you can also write it digitally, on a tablet, laptop or smartphone. Things that are not written, are only in your mind, so they lack the power to come to life. Write your goal in detail and divide it into smaller, achievable parts. Then, write the activities that you must do in order to reach your goal. Set the order for that list of activities, their importance and urgency, and decide upon how you will tackle them. Start doing activities from your plan. This is the key point, to start. And then to do. Daily, something. Challenge number 9. The Pareto Rule, 2080. This is a rule named after its inventor, Vilfredo Pareto, back before 1900, which states that almost everything we do, from personal activities to economic ones, can be explained with this rule. Basically, 20% of what you do should bring you 80% of results. Instead, the sad reality is that we waste 80% of our resources, time, energy, to achieve merely 20% of results. For this rule to start working in your favor, you must change the rapport, from 80 to 20 to 20 to 80. In order to do that, you can try the following exercise. Write a list of 10 things you must do and see what are the 2 things from that list that could bring you 80% of results. The problem is that you procrastinate on exactly these 2 things that could bring you the desired results with less effort, so maximize everything. If you are able to identify the 2 things in the list of 10, then you are on the right track to work on them and achieve the maximum results with the least effort. 20 to 80. Challenge number 10. Valuable time. In order to make the most of your time, it is essential to know how to use it best. In other words, to know what is your most valuable time. For this, ask yourself this question: what are the activities that bring me the most results in the least time? And make a list of such 20 activities, which then are put in order of importance and urgency. Then cut them in half and make a list of the 10 most important things. And, linked with the above activity, look at the first 2 and work on those. Challenge number 11. Set realistic standards. Setting too high standards can be a real problem in procrastination, because it lowers your chances to start doing what you planned. So, instead of having standards too high, make them realistic. If you do not exercise at all, do not set a goal to exercise for 3 hours every day, because it is unrealistic and unachievable. Same, if you want to begin to meditate, do not plan to do that for 1 hour daily. Instead, plan for 5 minutes for the first week, then increase the time to 10 minutes and so on, if you can find the motivation to be consistent. Write down a set of 5 goals and divide them into smaller activities. Then, try to make them as realistic as possible. Challenge number 12. Use a journal. Using a journal is like writing down your goals, because it helps you keep track of what you have to do and have already done. After you write your detailed goal and the accompanying activities, do the following. Write daily, in your journal, the things you accomplished on that day. Give yourself credit for those accomplishments. Write down if there are any parts that you did not manage to achieve on a particular day. Also, try to identify the reasons, excuses, rationalizations and other reasons that you gave yourself for not doing what you planned for that day. Get back on track and do what you planned for. Change your negative thoughts and messages, for example I cannot, I do not feel like, I am too tired, into positive ones, for example I am sure I will succeed if I try hard enough, I just need to start and then I will find motivation, I will feel more energetic after I start. Write the feelings and behaviors you experience and change the inappropriate ones, frustration, lack of motivation, anxiety, into adaptive ones, expectancy, moderate or high motivation, preoccupation. Use the mistakes you make in the journal as a learning resource. Challenge number 13. The Procrastinator's Creed. We all have our own core beliefs, a creed or decalogue we guide ourselves with. If you are a procrastinator, then you certainly have your own beliefs that keep you procrastinating. Look at the beliefs below and check whether you have those or not and also add your own beliefs on this topic. Then, see how you can change them into some adaptive ones. Everything that I do, including myself, must be perfect. Everything that I do must be done without any effort. I would rather do nothing than do something that is not perfect. If I fail once, I will always fail. If I succeed once, I must do that always. If I had enough time, I could succeed at anything. If I start working on something before I am fully prepared, I will certainly jinx it and fail. Now that you read those inappropriate beliefs, look at the creed below and try to adopt it, as it is a more adaptive one for your procrastination habits. Although I would love to do everything perfect and life itself to be perfect, I understand and accept that it is not possible. People and things are perfectible, not perfect. I would love to do everything easily. At the same time, I accept that good things come with the right amount of effort. Waiting for perfection is a waste of time, because it does not exist. So, instead of waiting for that, I would rather do something to the best of my abilities and improve that each time I can. Failing once does not mean that it will always happen. Because one occurrence does not guarantee a regularity. The fact that you succeed once, does not necessarily imply that you always have to succeed. People might expect that from you and you already know that you should not live your life to satisfy their expectations. While it is nice to succeed, life is a roller coaster of ups and downs, highs and lows. So expect the unexpected. Having such an unrealistic expectation that you should have more time simply means that you need better time management skills. Because we all have the same amount of time, you should in fact look at what you do with your own time. What you do right and what you do wrong and improve on that. So expecting to have more time is not the answer. Instead, free time from the activities that take too much of your time and give you few or no results. Look at the above examples of the Pareto rule. This is one of the preferred excuses of any procrastinator, because it gives the perfect excuse to delay and postpone everything. Just as waiting to have enough time will never happen as long as you do not do the right steps, waiting to be perfectly prepared will also not happen on its own. At the same time, it will never happen, Period. You simply have to prepare for the task ahead and at a certain moment start doing what you have to do. And then prepare again on the go and adapt to the requirements of the task. Challenge number 14. Use inertia. Whenever you have a task that is either difficult or boring, start with one that is pleasant and easier to do. Using the Premack principle, you start with a task that is more preferred and then, at a time determined externally, start working on the difficult task. The easiest way to do that is to set a clock alarm to sound at exactly 20 or 30 minutes after you started your preferred task. This way, you will get momentum and have motivation to start working on a pleasant task and then continue working on a less pleasant one. For example, you could look at a TED Talk about your favorite subject, do that for 20 minutes and when the clock alarm sounds, continue working on the task that you have been avoiding. Or, do some physical exercises, if that is something you like, and after 20 or 30 minutes have passed, move on to the least preferred activity. Write a list of such 5 tasks that you can link together and try them. Challenge number 15. Use reminders. To make sure you do not forget something, intentionally or not, use reminders. Nowadays, it is very easy to use all sorts of reminders, from physical post-it papers to digital ones, to apps that remind us to start or keep working, to friends that can help us when we procrastinate. Make a list of such 10 reminders that you can use and start using them. Look at the examples below, to get a couple of ideas. Post-it papers, Google Calendar reminders, smartphone calendar reminders, asking a friend or family to call and remind you of something, smartphone apps, yelling mom, finish, procrastinator, beat procrastination, avoid procrastination 101. Challenge number 16. Deadly deadlines and early deadlines. If you know you have problems with meeting deadlines, do not use just the ones set by others. Instead, set your own deadlines and set them before the actual deadline, so that you have enough time to adjust to any problems that might occur. This way, you will avoid sleepless nights and the associated problems. Think of 5 tasks you had recently and the deadline you had for those tasks. Then, think whether you managed to finish them on time or not. And then set a new deadline for them, one that is days or weeks ahead of the original deadline. Look at the examples below, to get an idea of the difference in time needed, depending on the size and importance of the project. Challenge number 17. Take a sharp left. Or right. Or left. Another common problem procrastinators have is making decisions, especially when they are under time pressure. Do you have the same problem, having trouble with decision making? The best analogy for this is skiing. That is one real-life situation where making decisions is vital, because everything happens very fast. So the ability to decide whether to turn left or right is crucial. In bigger projects, there is usually enough time to make decisions. But even in such cases, if you postpone too much, you will have to make a quick decision. And sometimes you will have to make a decision that was not planned before. So, with the skiing analogy in your mind, imagine 5 situations where you have to make decisions and write the decisions you took. How easy or difficult was it for you to make those decisions? Would you do something different now? Did you have any benefits from making decisions fast? Use the examples below to see a response model and then write your own situations. Challenge number 18. Discover the reasons for procrastinating. Knowing why you procrastinate is as important as the act itself. Perhaps even more important, because it can help you cure the cause and not the effects. Every behavior we do has a cause behind it. Some are clear, some are hidden. Finding your reasons for procrastinating will help you change, in time, these bad habits. Look at some of the examples below and then write your own examples of reasons for procrastinating. Fear of failure, fear of success, unrealistic expectations, comparing yourself to others, wanting to always please others. Challenge number 19. Eliminate your opportunities for procrastinating. A great method for procrastinating less is to eliminate the elements that might interrupt your work. For that, you first need to identify them. So look at some of the examples below and then identify your own elements. TV, turn it off. Smartphone, turn off the wireless or mobile data, to avoid being distracted. Smartphone, tune down the volume, so that you can work and avoid being distracted by the rings. Challenge number 20. Divide and delegate. Although it is not the Roman divide et impera, divide and conquer, it helps to divide your larger tasks or projects into smaller activities and parts and also delegate the things that others could do and help you get started. Dividing the larger task into smaller parts will help you tackle things easier and get started without postponing. Delegating to others parts of your work can also be helpful, because those persons can help you get started, keep you on track, and remind you to keep going, from time to time. For this activity, think of 5 larger tasks and how you can divide them into smaller tasks. Then, think of people that could help you along the way and that you could delegate to. Look at some of the examples below for inspiration. Preparing for a marathon. This task is a big one, so you should divide it into smaller ones, such as daily runs of 2 to 3 kilometers. Also, it helps to have someone run along with you, for motivation. Working on a 12 months project. Again, this is a long-term project, so you need to divide it into months and weeks. Use a Gantt chart to divide the entire project and add activities and sub-activities. Also, this is a good example where you can use delegation to help you achieve your goals and finish the project. Remember, delegate tasks and not responsibilities, and delegate to the people that can really be of help. Challenge number 21. The 1-minute rule. This rule states that, if you have something simple to do, just do it in the first minute. Do not postpone it. For example, if you open an email, read it and reply to it immediately, if you know the answer. Or, if you must wash the dishes, do not leave that for later, just wash them right away. This way, you increase your chances of doing what you planned and not postpone. Challenge number 22. Admit that you are procrastinating. The first step in changing a bad habit is to admit that you have that habit. So, if you want to stop procrastinating, you must admit that you do that. As already discussed, everyone procrastinates. So there is nothing special in this. How much you procrastinate and how often can make the difference. Also, on what tasks you do that also matters. Therefore, make a list of the tasks and projects you procrastinate, and also check the items below, to see if what you do is indeed procrastinating. You do not have a to-do list. If you have a to-do list, you postpone important things from that list. Read your emails without acting on them. Work on urgent things instead of important ones. Have difficulties in deciding. Cannot find the right mood to start something. Challenge number 23. Become aware of your energy level. We all have different energy levels throughout the day or the week. Some feel more energetic in the morning while others during the day or towards the evening. Knowing when your highest energy level is will help you program your hardest and most difficult tasks so that you make the most of it. Look at the examples below to see when you have the most energy and then use those times to set your schedule accordingly. When you wake up in the morning, you feel full of energy and can take on the world. If you feel like this, then you should tackle the difficult tasks early in the morning and leave the easiest ones for later. The first days of the week are the ones when you have the most energy, and then it fades towards the end of the week. If you feel this way, start working on the most difficult tasks on Monday, so that you do most of the hard work before you lose your energy. Challenge number 24. Write it down. Another good approach to avoid procrastination is to write down the elements that can lead to that. Therefore, you must write down the task you have to achieve, the obstacle, the explanation you give to yourself, and the solution to that. Look at the examples below and then write your own situations. Task. I have to finish my workout at the gym. Obstacle. A friend called and asked me to go for a pizza. Explanation. I could not finish my workout sessions at the gym because of a friend that called me to go out for a pizza. Then, I felt guilty for not working out and also eating an entire pizza and gaining some more weight. Solution. Next time a friend calls me during my workout at the gym, I will simply reply that I cannot do that, because I still have work to do in order to stay fit. Task. I have to finish my homework for tomorrow. Obstacle. A group of friends called and asked me to join them at a party. Explanation. I could not finish my homework, because I was invited to the city by a group of good friends and partied all night, and now I'm feeling very tired. Solution. Next time I work on my homework, I will simply ignore the call by putting my smartphone on silent or, even better, on airplane mode. Challenge number 25. Act on it. Another rule for ending procrastination is to act upon something in the first seconds. So, if you feel the urge to work on something, you should do it in the first seconds that you have that urge. Because the odds of doing that are higher if you act upon an idea the minute it hits you. For example, if you feel the urge to do your homework, start that the minute it hits you. Or, if you feel like cleaning your house, do just that and nothing else, if that is the most important thing at that moment. For this particular challenge, think of 5 situations when you felt the urge to do something useful and how long it took you to act upon. Then, think about what would have happened if you would have acted sooner. Would things have changed for the better? Challenge number 26. Use a calendar and set a schedule. Do not force your memory into remembering everything you have to do. Instead, use a calendar to write down what you have to do and make a schedule to set your tasks. This way, you can be sure to remember everything you have to do and not have any excuses of having forgot. Look at the examples below and then write your own tasks. Monday. I will have a first meeting on the new project we are starting this year. The purpose is to get to know each other as a developing team. Tuesday. I will have a second meeting with the same team from Monday, and the purpose is to set up roles and tasks for each member. Wednesday. I will start working on the first assignment of the project, that is ordering the necessary equipment and resources for the project. The purpose of this is to allow enough time for the needed gear to be ordered and to arrive. His will include laptops, printers, software and specific research gear. Thursday. I will start documenting and researching databases for the project we are developing. Friday. I will make a short report on the first week's activity and use this template to have an updated status of the project. The purpose of this task is to give each member of the team a template to fill in the tasks they did. Challenge number 27. Estimate the time. To make sure you stay on track with what you have to do, it is essential to use time wisely. And that can be done by estimating the time correctly. Most often, procrastinators estimate time wrongly or do not estimate it at all. So think of 5 tasks you must do in the near future and then estimate how much time it would take you to do it. And then do those tasks and calculate how much time it took you to do that activity or task. Then, make the difference between your estimation and the actual time it took to finish that task. Do the homework. I estimate it will take 1 hour to finish. The real time is 2 hours. On this task, I underestimated the necessary time. Meet with my team and work on the first phase of a project. I estimate we will work for 2 hours. We managed to finish our work in 1.5 hours. On this task, I overestimated the necessary time. Challenge number 28. Visualize your tasks. Being able to visualize your tasks is very helpful, because it helps you envision the final result. Using visual aids will act as a motivator to show you what you should achieve. To do that, use images of videos that are the visual representation of the results you want to achieve. If you are good at drawing, you can draw the result you want to get. Or you can use images from the internet. For this challenge, think of 5 tasks or results you want to achieve and then look for the visual aid for that. Challenge number 29. 5 to 10. This is not about a working schedule, instead is a challenge about reviewing your work and tasks at the beginning and the end of the day. It is about offering yourself 5 to 10 minutes a day. Review your tasks for the day, at the beginning of the day, for 5 to 10 minutes and do that again at the end of the day. This will allow you to prepare mentally for the tasks ahead and also check what you did during that day and also check if you managed to finish your tasks. Challenge number 30. Arrange your space. The last challenge in this course is to learn how to arrange your learning or working space so that it helps you achieve what you planned. The idea is to arrange your space so that you do not have reasons to complain. Procrastinators usually complain about everything, not having enough time, not having enough energy or not having a space ordered enough to work. So, to make sure you avoid that, simply arrange your space so that it invites you to work. Look at your working space, whether it is your desk, your office or any other room. Declutter it and only leave the minimum necessary objects. Look at the image below and choose the necessary objects needed for working and learning. Or simply write down the objects you need for working. Congratulations for arriving at the end of this video on how to procrastinate less. I am confident that, if you apply all these challenges, you will be able to change your bad habits and turn them into effective behaviors. The secret is hard work and dedication, constant work with yourself.